All right, welcome to another Art for Inspiration video. Today, again, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite artists, biggest influences, one of Whilce Portacio. This is going to be some books some of you might not be aware of, some of you might actually have these in your collection. So let me go and flip this sucker right here. All right, here we go. Okay, so today I'm going to show you guys this book right here. The run of books was called Counter X, I believe, and it was a, what was it, a 4 or 5 issue series with the what was it, X-Force, the X-Force comics, right? So like way down the road, it was issues what, 202. Oh, my bad. You got 102 through 109. Okay, so this was around, I don't know, 2000, around Y2K. So this is the primary book here, which collects the series. But I also want to show you something else kind of cool for anyone really into, you know, just the art. Like, this is just showing the art. I'm not going to go over story with this book. A lot of this is not even really canon anymore, to my knowledge. There is another, this is a trade paperback here. It's Counter X. It is volume 1. I think there's 2 or 3 volumes of the Counter X run of books. This one shows Ellis and Portacio as 2 of the contributing creatives. There's another trade here. No relation to RAGETALITY. I actually almost named RAGETALITY War #1 just Rage War, which I did not, and that's kind of funny because I ended up finding this after the fact in my collection. I had it in a long box, and I completely forgot why I purchased this. So, Counter X, X-Force, Rage War. Okay, it doesn't tell you which volume it is. This right here collects X-Force 110 through 115. I bought it specifically for this reason right here. Issue 102, rough cut. 102 was the first issue that Whilce is on. So there are other artists here, but this is a video about Whilce Portacio. So I'm going to show you here. Okay, so X-Force Rage War trade does not have a volume indica on it. All right, so a bunch of books, bunch of stuff going on in here. Not even worried about it. I'm here for Whilce. Okay, so about 3/4 of the way through the book, you come to this section right here, and it's essentially X-Force number 102, which is funny. It's that issue's not in here. There was a book, a single issue released of this book here. So if you cannot find or purchase this particular book here, you can still get this issue here in a floppy, and it would be the, what was it called, rough cut. You might be searchable under director cut as well, but it's X-Force number 102. All right, so specifically rough cut. If you can't find it under that, director cut. So what the book basically is just pencils. It's a bunch of pencils of the book, sketches, things like that. So here you get a preview here. This was a variant cover. I believe this was a retailer, like a 1 in 50, 1 in 25, something like that. And then you get to see a lot of the design aspects here behind the scenes by Whilce. So yeah, all pencils, and you get the complete issue. So you got, you know, pages 1 and 2, 3, 4, and it goes on. It's every single page from that book. And the reason why I actually opted for this book within the trade is that, first of all, I found this trade for $6, okay? And secondly, around 2000, Marvel was printing on, especially with this run being so far down the road, their focus was not high quality product. It was more so about just high sales on the low number books and printing cheaply, meaning lesser quality paper stock, etc. The colors suffered a lot on these books on the original run, and the line art as well, because what happens is the cheaper paper, everything tends to kind of bleed together. 100% K black tends to print around an 80%. You just have a lot of grays that mix. 40% hue colors become 60, 80, etc., etc. This is printed on a semi-gloss. I'm going to guess it's an 85 text. Nice thick paper. Not 92 image thick, but it is pretty thick paper. It's pretty nice. So, but anyways, yeah, this is a very nice edition here. I do know that the rough cut of this, I have it somewhere, and I don't really bust it out too often because of that, because I'm afraid of damaging the book, because the paper is a little bit frail. A little frail. It's one of those books where you feel like each time you read it, you're probably damaging something. The spine or a page is getting bent. There's something going on. You can't really handle it very well. So yeah, again, and then so you get the issue there. This is the again 102 rough cut, and then you get to see the script. I never read this stuff. I never. If you feel inclined, you can always read this stuff. Go back and like say, oh, that's the page where Domino did the thing and said the thing, and then you get to see Whilce's interpretation of that specific page in the script. I don't have a whole lot of interest in that. I'm a visual person. Yeah, and again, so maybe a rough cut would be the delegated name, but again, if you can't find it under that, look under director's cut, because there were some editions of what was it, Avengers, David Finch, and those ones were specifically called director's cuts. Granted, they came out 5 or 6 years after this. I feel like the moniker rough cut was kind of dropped for a bit at least, so it might be more easily searched under director cut. So anyways, yeah, issue 102, you get the full pencils there. Now, Counter X, Volume 1, Ellis, Edginton, Portacio. I think the first, let's see here. Yeah, so the first book is going to be Whilce. You get to see the cover, text-free, very, very cool. This, anything to me, Whilce is essentially just revisiting a masterclass of placement of shadows, design. He's one of the artists that I would say are fairly consistent with, his layouts, not necessarily predictable. He doesn't really have a whole lot of go-to poses. He can make talking scenes look interesting, like these pulling away shots. This is something you wouldn't necessarily see very common in a book. A little bit of 90s nostalgia right here. This is a very, very wet works sort of shot here. You can totally see like, Dane and Dozer going back and forth here. So it's nice that he kind of, never really dropped that and tried something different, going back to Marvel, doing some freelance for them. The colors on this book, pretty fun. They complement his work really well, so that it doesn't really nullify any of the line art. I didn't look at who inks this. It might be, because I'm thinking 2000, 2001. It might be, who is it, Jerry Allen Guillen? It might be him. I'm not entirely sure. I do know that Whilce kind of went back and forth too. He would have stuff inked by, who was it, like Scott Williams, and Trevor Scott did some stuff. I don't recall Rich Friend being involved with him until the DC stuff. So, but these inks here are pretty tight. Obviously someone who knows their way around a quill. But again, yeah, masterclass. Using black as a tool for leading the eye through the page down to the next panel and through the pages. Always fun. Super fun to look at this stuff. Very designy. He's got like a Patrick Nagel kind of design going on back here, but then you also get the silhouette. There's, you know, the characters behind them, so he doesn't just throw something behind it for the sake of using it. He also uses the power of the silhouette to show and identify characters behind them by scale and how far away they are to these characters with the belt eye view that he establishes there. Very obviously, a trolley, San Francisco. It's a no-brainer. So yeah, he gives you just enough information. This grit, this is so fun. I'm doing a lot more of this stuff in my own work as well right now. But again, you know, this book here, 20 years old. 20 years old, this run of books here. Yeah, lots of cool design aspects. Some of the stuff sometimes might come off a little wonky. When he's doing the larger characters, he would do things, super broad shoulders, broad necks, and then, of course, you know, the slinky neck syndrome. He had that going on for a bit. He's not quite there on these issues, but I know like two or 3 years later, what was it? Team Achilles. Got a video for that too. That stuff I know he really kind of dove into, like this, where it was almost caricature-esque on some of these characters. You know, the taller characters, he would stretch everything out. It was a slinky, you know. But again, like the rendering, it's like it's all forgivable. The rendering is just super nice and spot on. This page here, I think, would look really cool in black and white. I really do wish that all these books got a rough cut edition, like that issue 102. Another slinky neck syndrome right here. Chin. I mean, if I was drawing this, that chin would be about right here. You know, it would have been dropped, covering part of his forehead behind there. I think I'm going to be getting to some pages here which possibly are not Whilce. I know that there was a fill-in or two during this run of books. You got crazy character shots there. Some of this stuff's not really... I know that this is Whilce, but it doesn't feel like Whilce because, maybe a little bit of experimentation going on here with the speed lines for the musculature versus... and I do know that the character is like a water-based, character, but the defining shadows are very, very different from what I'm used to for Whilce. So, yeah, around that time... awesome cover. Yeah, I remember. What was funny is I remember this issue right here came out, and then I had to backtrack and track down the older issues because when I saw this cover, I was like, "Wow, that looks like Whilce." And I read, I was like, "Whoa, it is Whilce. It's pretty cool." Then I had to go back, and the shop owner where I had got it from, out in Modesto, California, they didn't know anything about it. They were too busy slinging Magic the Gathering cards. They kind of were dropping off the face of comics. They were just carrying them. They had a diamond account. Comics at that point with them were they were trailing, the gaming market. So they were really focused on being a gaming shop and that. So, and I'm sure today, if they're still in business, they probably still are very much into the gaming. Because gaming in that area, at least Central California, really blew up the same way that comics blew up before the bubble pop. Mid-90s. Yeah, so all this stuff is super cool. Again, simplicity, this panel, it just works, All of this is forgivable. He's got literally your eye going bam, 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 off the page. Bam, bam. Perfect. Right? One of the, like I said, one of the only modern artists who've consistently been able to do that. This storytelling is perfect. Don't get a lot of that these days. You get a lot of people who can draw really well, know how to draw small panels, but they don't really have the vision of what you need to do to move the eye. That's part of what we do. You got to manipulate people's eyeballs, move to the next page. So. Yeah, for some reason I feel like this might have been a variant cover as well as a page 1. Underwhelming cover, nice illustration altogether. A little bit of Akira vibes going on here too. So this is very cool. This face here, I don't know what it is. This face is always registered as a Platt face to me. I don't really know why. I think it's just because Steven back in the day, he was really getting into like Arn Weisenfeld's Team 7 book when he started that Prophet relaunch. So he was dropping a lot of black that would go to the side versus just top lit. And this feels very, very much like a Platt face. I know Whilce, Whilce not necessarily influenced by Platt by any means. It has that feeling to it. Kind of the crop too. Might just be the shoulder crop that is registering with my brain. These inks are a little looser. This feels very brush, and this feels like brush inks right here. These fades are they're not really controlled. Same thing in here, and on the face. So these might have actually been inked by Whilce. I might go back and look at that. Yeah, this is very, very. Maybe Manga Studio. This might have been a version 1 Manga Studio, because some of these inks feel way too clean for paper. These outlines. Slinky neck. You got a bunch of giraffes. Giraffes join the X-Force. Just kidding. Yeah, this is interesting here too. You get a high concentrated blue. There's no black in this. High concentrated blue against what prints as black, and it almost looks like a white toner lift on the black ink, which it's not. It's just this black ink has nothing going on behind it, so there's no blend with this here. Very interesting. Seeing that kind of stuff. But yeah, these panels, this is great. These these layouts here, so fun. You see Cannonball taking off. Digital coloring was still, I'm not going to say in its infancy, but Marvel was still on the coattails of Image, trying to kind of do what they were doing still. So there's a lot of things here where you'll see like shortcuts. Like this right here should have been like a bright orange blast with some yellow, maybe some spackling going on, above all of that smoke. And Marvel just wasn't giving us that. They'd hire really good artists and just give them like super flat coloring at the time, which I'm not necessarily going to complain about, because it gave us an opportunity to see there is a fly in my room, to see very cool artwork shine. Still, even though, they were trying to become writer driven, because they were, they had the burn. They still had the burn from the artist leaving. Alright, let's keep going here. You got Domino making her appearance here. Alright, so these pages here, these are not, this flashback sequence here, this is not Whilce. I don't recall who it is. And then it does bounce back though, so let's see here. Not Whilce, not Whilce. This is Whilce. You can tell the design aspect here. Man, that ear is just flared out. Bizarre. I wonder if that's a character design or just kind of something funny was playing with. I'm not really sure. So yeah, you get to see some. Let's see. This, I don't know if this is Whilce. These two pages here look a little off. This doesn't read as a Whilce page to me. Might just be a quick layout. I'm not sure. X-Force 107, cool Whilce cover. Art Ariel Olivetti. So this issue here, we're just gonna breeze over it. It is not Whilce. It does look like he's taking a page out of Whilce's book though, with the design aspect. A lot of open panels, well-established characters. Olivetti is an awesome artist. I have a what is it? Space Ghost of all things. I have a trade paperback that they illustrated. It's pretty fun. I'll have to do a video on that sometime. Let's see here. And then you got a Salvador Larroca. That might actually be the last Whilce, this cover here. Oh, I'm a liar. You got Ian Medina and Whilce Portacio on this issue here. Okay, so this issue would be 108. Oddly enough, not a Whilce cover, but it feels like a Whilce design. Yeah, this is fun. Super awesome. Alright, I'm going to bust through this. This video's been going long enough. You guys have stuck this one out. Alright, so let's get through this thing. Again, great artist to be inspired by. Another Whilce cover. This is such a good cover. I remember when that one hit the shelf. All right, and then not Whilce Interiors. Okay, and then I want to point this out. In the back of this book, you then also get layout cover sketches for X-Force by Whilce, 102, 105, I think, maybe. And then you get to see the pencils on these two covers right here. So you do get a little bit of a sketchbook section. The variant cover right here, the pencils. This did get a full ink and color treatment, but for whatever reason they decided to print the pencils there. I'm okay with it. I like seeing his pencils. Humberto Ramos right here. You can see this variant here. And then that cover that I was praising right here. This is an awesome cover. I love this piece here. I love the use of the heavy black underneath and just the focus on the hand. On a very well drawn hand, by the way. I'm going to point that out. So yeah, Counter X, I do recommend this if you're a fan of Whilce and you want to be influenced by Whilce, or if you just want to see maybe some different takes on heavy shadows, or you know, ostrich-necked character. I'm just kidding. Counter X, Volume 1. This is the only cover that I know that exists for this particular trade. The other one that I do recommend, only because you're going to get a nicer paper quality version of it, X-Force Rage War trade paperback. It doesn't have a number delegated to it. I think this one was actually printed before they did the Counter X run of books of reprinted trades. But this one does have the rough cut edition of X-Force 10 or 202, 102, 10. Something. You get some Whilce pencils in here. That's what you get. So, there you go. Oh, you know what's funny? Oh, so this is why I thought it was 202. Okay, check this out. So Whilce was labeling his pages incorrectly. That's why... Okay, I knew I wasn't crazy. So look, I'm just going to prove this. I'm not a total dummy. Right here, Whilce wrote issue 202, issue 202. This, and by the way, these are pencils for issue 102. Issue 202, issue 202. Let's see when he because he did correct it eventually. These don't have a page written on it. This doesn't either. This doesn't either. Fly, get out of my office, please. It's been very humid down here. It's raining, so all of a sudden flies decided they want to be a thing. These still don't say it. This doesn't say it. I do know that I saw 102 on one of these. That one has it. This one has. So around right here, he started writing 102 on the pages. He fixed it around halfway through the book. So there you go. I'm not completely crazy. All right, guys. Thank you.